The Black Goku arc of Dragon Ball Super did exactly what it was intended to do. It gave you a giant bag of actual trash wrapped in a pretty little bow. That's the reason why this arc is so controversial in the first place, because you got the people who notice the BS and call it out as BS, but you got the people who could look past it and all they see is, oh, Goku, but black, Vegito blue, Trunks spirit bomb sword, time travel, wow. Now while that arc did start off harder than any other arc in Super, just watching Trunks go through the same exact character arc that he went through in the Android saga just feels just lame and lazy. Trunks going back to his future on his own to deal with the androids and to deal with Cell was Trunks saying he does not need anybody else to save him or his own world. He is the new savior of his world and he will make sure that he keeps it safe. So him coming back when the next big threat comes just feels lazy and cheap. Sure, you can argue he had to deal with the threat of Majin Buu, but the only reason Buu was a threat in the first place was because Supreme Kai was an absolute idiot. The worst Goku could have done was awaken Buu early, but he would have been weaker than what he was, so he would have just been easier to beat, and he would have gotten jumped by everybody because everybody was there at that moment. Especially with the Trunks that we know on his last leg, who had to witness Krillin destroying an android, killing a Vice. He had to watch Vegeta toy with Cell, who was powering up, had to watch Goku give Cell a sensu bean, and had to watch Gohan toy with Cell and get Goku killed. Simply put, Trunks has learned to never rely on another soul, meaning he has to become the sole savior of his world. If he doesn't do it, nobody will. So there is no way Trunks would be slacking to the point where he couldn't just obliterate the Burrow. This man Trunks, after witnessing all that BS and after witnessing his world go to hell, Trunks would not be weak. Trunks would have one-tapped the Burrow, Supreme Kai would not have been dead, meaning Beerus would not have been dead, and Zamasu wouldn't even have stepped foot in the Universe 7. So now that we in the arc itself, let's talk about Zamasu. They had to jump millions of hurdles just to get an evil Goku into the story while still having our regular Goku in the story to fight him. Like, they got Zamasu from, I guess, around the Buu Saga time period, who time traveled into the future around to where like episode 1 of Dragon Ball Super takes place and took that Goku's body. But then he traveled to the future again, but somehow ended up in future Trunks' timeline. It doesn't really make sense because with these God-created time rings, you shouldn't be able to pop into alternate rips of time. It should take you directly to the future of the timeline that you're in. To make it make sense, you gotta kind of headcanon your way through it. So the best way to explain it is that the future doesn't exist and it's only the present and the past. And the present, technically the present is the timeline where Cell killed Trunks and took his time machine. So that timeline would technically be the furthest point in time that exists, but that doesn't make sense either because then he would have ended up in that timeline. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, it's, as I've mentioned, trash with a bow on it. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, Black Goku, who for some reason calls himself Goku, I still don't understand why outside of, marketing. He meets up with Zamasu from, I guess, Trunks' timeline, and he gets the Super Dragon Balls and wishes to be immortal. Once they get to Earth, they do exactly what they claim the mortals do, where they just have mindless chaos and war. The Zero Mortals plan clearly wasn't his plan, because if he wanted to lay waste to everybody on Earth, he could have easily done that. If Kid Buu can just stand there and launch missiles hitting every single human on the planet, I'm sure Zamasu can do something of that same caliber. If he really cares about his Zero Mortals plan, he could have used the Super Dragon Balls to just erase all mortals and he wouldn't have needed immortality, because the only other people who would pose a threat to him now are God of Destructions and angels who could kill him even if he's immortal. The Super Dragon Balls are capable of doing this, but the writers aren't capable of consistency, so they won't have something that makes too much sense happen in the story because it won't give them a story to work with. And I also find it funny how Trunks, after watching Bulma die, still couldn't touch base Zamasu like at all, but throughout the arc his little rage boost allowed him to go from that level to touching Merge Zamasu. And then I gotta bring up his Spirit Bomb sword, the biggest ass pull thing they've ever done, where this man Trunks just used the Spirit Bomb out of nowhere. That sword shouldn't have done anything anyway, bro. Zamasu fuse should have still been immortal. They had to write themselves out of a writing hole by saying, oh, when he fuses, he loses his immortality. Like, what if you wish to be the strongest person in the world and then you fuse with somebody? Do you become weaker because, you know, you're no longer person A or person B, or you're a whole new person? So wishing to be the strongest person in the world, you would lose that wish, right? It just sounds like a game of semantics to get yourself out of a writing hole, right? It's just very clear that they did not care about telling a good story. They just wanted cool things to happen in this arc. Like Goku Black pulling abilities out of his ass, or Goku forgetting the seal for the Mafuba because they wanted the rest of the arc to happen, or Goku forgetting the sensu beans at home because, you know, the same reason. Merge Zamasu being cut in half and merging with the universe because that just makes sense. The writers throwing Vegito in so they can have a big fusion fight, but making sure he amounts to absolutely nothing in the fight, but still has a cool fight scene to show off. Let's be real, man. This is the biggest like slap in the face cash grab arc I've seen Dragon Ball Super do. They wanted to have a blue Vegito, an evil Goku, a fusion of that evil Goku. They wanted to bring Future Trunks back, a Father-Son Galagun, a Spirit Bomb sword, what else? A recall to the Mafuba, you know, with it amounting to nothing, but they just wanted to say that they remembered it. It's just, the whole arc is just a mass of nothing moments that just look cool. That's all it really is. I can turn my brain off of stuff that looks cool, but when it's like, as I mentioned, slapping you in the face, when it's just telling you you're dumb if you like this, like I can't do it. And the ending of the arc where the writers are literally like, I just don't know what to do anymore. Like, I can picture them at the table just like, okay, what do we do now? Nuke it. Like they, like the government, like, nuke it. They literally just had Zeno erase that entire timeline, which includes everybody else that Trunks was fighting to save, and created a new timeline with new people. Well, those same people might exist on that timeline, they're still not the same people. So literally nothing, like absolutely nothing, came of that arc. Sure, you can say Trunks had another character arc, but it was the same one he had in, you know, Cell Saga. They just regressed them so they can use them again. And I haven't mentioned Mai at all in this video because it's just still like a weird topic where Mai is this character who is older than Goku, older than Bulma, yet they keep trying to make her like this love interest for Trunks for some odd reason. It's like they're just not allowed to really use any of the new characters. All the universes are still untouched outside of the tournaments. Beerus and Whis have been sidelined for years and years and years now, but they will still constantly put the spotlight on an old character like Frieza. While I love Frieza, it just shows that they're not willing to try anything new. The Black Goku arc, for example, while it was slightly different, it was just a one-off thing. After it happens, it's just not referenced, not brought up ever again. The consequences of that arc is just irrelevant, you know. An entire like dimension or whatever you want to call it was erased, you know. A god became, you know, evil and corrupted, and just, you know, that arc just basically didn't happen. Oh, and speaking on the later arcs, we learned that Universe 7 has one of the lower mortal rankings. So you're telling me that there's nobody else who, you know, dibbled and dabbled in some time travel with God Ki as well? You know, there's nobody else that Zamasu could have targeted? You're telling me Bulma is the only person in the multiverse who mastered time travel? It just seems dumb. I don't know, man. Dragon Ball Super is stupid, and the Black Goku arc kind of tells you why Super is stupid. It gives you an example of every category of stupidity found in the series as a whole. And I'm sorry, bro, I still can't get over Trunks dating Mai, bro. Like, somebody who's older than Vegeta himself, I believe. Like, man, this man cougar hunting for real. Y'all join the Discord. We talk everything, anime included. Follow me on TikTok. I go live every now and then. We get a little wild, you feel me? And I'm out. Subscribe to the YouTube as well. Peace.
Take your chance, be now. In my maze, I'm in how can we then see? We can't be